Yesterday, as we worked in supine, all the 6 meridians of the legs, the 3 yin, spleen, liver, and kidney, and the 3 yang, stomach, gallbladder, and on the back bladder. We're going to move now into sideline position so that we can access this lateral portion of the body. And so in sideline, the side that's facing up, it's mostly gallbladder meridian. And then on the extended other leg, we can work, again, opportunity to work spleen, liver, and kidney, just a lovely way to work the adductors. So, as I mentioned earlier, we're taking it from where we left off yesterday, from rotation. Right now we can move right into sideline. So a lot of different ways. You can just ask the person to turn over sideline. That works every time. No muss, no fuss. Or else, if you've initiated some stretch here to help open up gallbladder and the lower back, we can just simply support here with our foot and come and step across and move them into sideline. And then I'd like just to come over, and then we can start this openness here. So this is a nice stretch like that painful Makoho exercise for the gallbladder meridian or opening up the intercostals. This position here, you can see through the fabric here where it's pulling and all the way down to the hip. So this is a nice initial stretch. And then I'm just going to put our arm down. Now, and this can, you can think about working this way on the table also to try to open up here, because there's a lot of restriction here on everybody in the shoulders. There's a prime gallbladder point right on the top of the shoulder, gallbladder 21, which is halfway between the shoulder and the base of the neck on the highest portion of trapezius here. So to get some initial movement, just stabilizing the head, and some nice easy extended arm compression down really gives them a nice stretch. And the advantage of working from the head here is that you can use your body weight more readily, just lean in. So you can have a longer sustained stretch to open up the shoulder. And it's always a good habit to stabilize the head a little bit. So with contact here and contact here, you're defining what area is getting stretched. Here's points of attachment of the muscles too. And also too, easy for forearm work. I said it's the pressure, okay. Resist that ear hole. and then you can do more specific work by just doing some braced thumb work. So that's a nice general approach, just getting some nice loosening in the upper trapezius. And then we're going to position ourselves in the back here, and we're going to bring our knee and support the person, always lending support, right? And one foot above the head. And I put my foot above the head because it moves my center here into the area that we're going to address now. So, and that is compression into the temporal area of the head. This addresses not only the muscles, of course, but also the beginning of the gallbladder meridian. So the gallbladder meridian starts just on the outer canthus of the eye. And if you feel on yourselves the outer canthus of the eye and move back a finger width, you'll feel a little indentation. Press towards the center. Can you feel that little indentation there? That is gallbladder 1.
It's the temple, right?
Yeah, the temple, exactly. So just immediately behind the outer canthus, the temple. The mind tells. The temple. Yes, the temple. And this is a very clearing point. It helps clear, one of the functions of the gallbladder is about, and the liver is about decision making and planning and acting out, moving forward on them. So a lot of times people get headaches or because of a lot of mental work, or else in the process of decision making, keep on going over the thing over and over again without acting on it. So it creates so much energy in this meridian that there's stagnation, and this meridian is the one that is activated a lot during migraines and headaches and things. And it's because a lot of it is frustration for not acting out on what you're planning to do. So this clearing point is very good. But the general approach is for using the palm of the hand and just sinking in to compress. And again, you'll notice it's through an extended arm, so that you're not pushing so much, but rather leaning in on your exhale. And just let yourself lean in nice and easy. Again, don't get so carried away with the technique that you're not paying attention to what you're actually feeling, right? So the ease you move in, guided by your breath, helps heighten your sense of what you're feeling. And then you can come down. And here I'm sitting in Seiza, and if that's comfortable, my knees are about even with the top of the shoulder. And we're going to continue where we left off. The gallbladder comes here in front of the shoulder and down through the side of the torso, through the hip, through the iliotibial band of peroneals, and out the top of the foot, going out the fourth toe. So we're going to address where we left off by continually opening up the physical body so that we can more readily access these energetic channels. Okay? So when we loosen the physical body, the chi itself starts to flow more readily, but then we can more readily sink in and make contact with the chi, the meridian itself. So we're just going to do a little sustained stretch. You can see that there's some tightness here. Why? Because the head's coming a little bit. See how our head's coming up the pill a little bit, so this is restricted a little bit. So after a little bit, if you want to get even more of a stretch, you can, again, like the same premise we did from the head, you can stabilize and then pull down a little bit more. Okay? And then let your thumb come up underneath the occipital ridge. So you feel here for the corner, and then just let your thumb sink up underneath the occipital ridge. Halfway between the mastoid process and the attachment of the upper trapezius, there's a little indentation up underneath your occipital ridge, and you can feel that on yourself. That is another very good release point for tension in the head, neck, and shoulders, which is gallbladder 20. Called wind pond, meaning it collects a lot of the excess energy. So this is a very good point. And then we'll just do some nice petrissage down the side of the neck, just to release some of that tension. And it brings you to the top of the shoulder, where we want to address it a little bit more, to loosen it up, so we can do a number of things. We can take our pads of our fingers and sink in. No peeking. You have to watch the video. And you can come in and then just come up, and it gives you nice digital compression into the area. Okay. And then we do some nice range of motion. So we're going to try to free the shoulder up. You know, you have all these attachments coming up and attaching here, so we're going to try to create some space here. So one thing, how we're doing it is we're stabilizing the shoulder girdle from the front and from the back, right? And we're just going to move with it, create some nice range of motion. one way, then the other. Okay. And then we're going to stretch here. Now the gallbladder meridian, like I mentioned, starts here, it zigzags, and then comes in front of the shoulder. And one of the things that can set up a dynamic where the energy gets stuck or stagnated is the forwardness of the shoulder caused by the shortening of the pec minor and pec major. So we want to spend some time addressing pec major and pec minor. So one of the things is through palpation, where we can do some cross fiber, just to open up the musculature here. You can feel that reverberation down your arm. There's also a very nice gentle stretch, particularly for pec minor. So if you bring the arm up and slightly forward and then back, you'll feel a stretch. And that's particular to the pec minor. The reason we position up and forward and back is because the pec minor comes at a 45-degree angle just before it attaches to the coracoid process. So when you bring the arm back at this angle, it replicates the angle of the pec minor, so it's very specific to pec minor. So this is another pec minor stretch. We're just going to keep this real simple for gallbladder. And then this comes down through the torso, and like mentioned, you know, it goes in between the ribs. All the points are in between muscles, between bones. They're not on the bone. They're in spaces between. So we're going to address the side of the torso just with some simple pressure. So inhale and exhale, just a nice palmar compression right down. And you know, when you compress and release, you're emulating the motion of a nice deep breath, right? There's expansion and contraction of the diaphragm, which reverberates in the structure that surrounds it. In this case, it's the rib cage. So some nice assisted compression down and then up really helps free up the fascia and also allows the chi to flow a little bit more readily in gallbladder. So gallbladder coming down, and a lot of times it gets stuck in the space just distal to the 12th rib and just above the iliac crest. So all this soft tissue here, and also on a muscular level, you realize we have obliques, we have quadratus, we have multifidus, we have longissimus as we're moving closer to the spine. So and I'm changing my acclimation from here, pointing now in the direction that I'm working so that I can more readily facilitate position to create some openness. So through an extended arm, I'm pushing in to create a little openness here in the lower back.
We're getting close, Randy.
I'm sorry?
We're getting close to about 14 minutes.
Okay. And then we're going to come and address this area with something called dragon's mouth, which is an overlapping of the hands. A little 3D effect. And then we're just going to sink in. So we're just sinking in. And you can use thumbs too to be a little bit more specific. And then next we're going to move into the hips. Okay, so we'll just stop there.